It's still a special broadcast right here on News Central TV, celebrating Tanzania at 61. And for the past 1.5 hours here, we've been dealing with situations of politics and governance in Tanzania, the growth, the past presidents, how far and how well they've gone, and of course the current female president, Samia Suluhu Hassan. In the past 20 minutes, we've just been discussions on the economy, talking about the growth of Tanzania, of course the Umoja socialism policy, how it affected the growth of Tanzania. We also looked at foreign direct investment. We looked at the growth of agriculture and diversification of the economy. Now, away from all that, we're going to situations on security. And we'll not be alone. We have joined us Emmanuel Phalet. Ukashu is an advocate of the High Court of Tanzania and Subordinate Courts. And he's joining us from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Happy Independence celebration to you, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are very happy here today. In spite we are not making it a commemoration, we have switched on to others' duties, but it's a public holiday here, and we are very happy. It's a very good day and memorable.
At least you get a public holiday. A lot of us are at work.
I'm even hoping probably you said... I mean, part of the celebrations, I know that Tanzania has their food, so probably later on you'll be giving us the whole details of what's going to happen after this special broadcast and how you're going to celebrate your independence. Now, still talking about issues of security, which is our major highlight for this segment. Now, Tanzania faces security threats. I mean, we look at DRC, what is going on there with Rwanda. We also see Mozambique, ISIS, insurgency going on there. We also see the border areas of DRC, Kenya, and Mozambique. How is Tanzania dealing with the security threats going on at the borders?
Okay, first and foremost, you must understand one thing first, that in Tanzania, our culture of military is very polite in the aspect that until when you disturb it, it's when you see how strong it is. We have been laid down by Julius Nyerere that we have to be very polite. We cannot overreact in every situation. I can tell you that what is happening in DRC, it has been quite long, and we have also been sending a mission to M44, M43 to assist the UN mission. We have been also doing the same to the other East African. We have also been protecting our borders at Mozambique there. As you know that Mozambique and Tanzania is just close nearby, and we have got the border at Mutwara there. We have just tried to protect our militaries there, put our missions there, our corps are there, all to protect our big country and our borders, because our country is very, very situated in the midst of a lot of our neighbors, and all of them, they depend peace, and all, if anything happens, the inflations or influx of the refugees always come in Tanzania. But if I take you back to Rita, if you go back to Tanzania history at 61, in 1978, when it happens to our war with Uganda, we were the last people to react. In spite of all what Idi Amin did, but we were the last people to react. And that's the culture to have been laid down. We should not react in everything. Even the time when the Malawi thing was happening at the administration of Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete and Joyce Banda, but yet we still play down the diplomatic role. So in Tanzania culture, military is not always reacting because we don't believe on reaction of the military powers. We just believe on diplomacy, and that's how we are laid down here.
Well, what would you say has been able to keep the country safe, you know, and secure in the last 6 decades? Has there been anything in particular that has been maintained through successive governments that has been able to maintain the peace in Tanzania?
Okay, thank you for a good question. In the 6 administration periods that we are held in Tanzania, since from the Mwalimu Julius Nyerere to President Mwinyi, Mkapa, the late, to Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, to the late Magufuli, and today to the President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan. One of the things that all the transition government under the CCM has been maintaining is how to equip our military. It's how to impact new skills to our military, but not only that, it has gone further. Our military instruments have been so polite. We have not been encountered with any threats so far. We have not been encountered with any other wars around ourselves. We have never been that traditional. So it's a place where we are so peace, and we like to maintain peace. So anything that comes here, the chaos, we're always wondering, what is this happening? Where is this coming from? How is this coming from? In spite, we can go to the police. The police issues and the citizen has been a very, very tragic issues because the police, especially in the fifth administration of President Magufuli, it was weaponizing everything. So that has created a very bad relationship with the citizen, and that was all the thing that was happening, especially in the civic space. I don't know about public rallies, I don't know political rallies, but in the rest, about the military is so cool. The civic issues about the relationship between the police and us, a citizen, something that sometimes it's always never been in good terms because we think that sometimes police have been used, sometimes police have been weaponizing things. So that's the only thing that has been tension in Tanzania, but yet it's containable because at the sixth administration of President Samia Suluhu Hassan, we are using a thing that she has said. We are using 4 R's. We are the silence, the building, and the making reforms in all what has happened. So we are now moving away that it's not supposed to be a horrible place anymore, because at the fifth administration, it was a horrible year. Police was so enemy to the citizen. It was nowhere. If you see a police, you see that you are enemy, which is so bad. We have never experienced such a massacre in our life.
All right, thank you so much, Emmanuel. I mean, you brought about the issue of the human rights violation and, of course, the abuse of human rights by the police, which you have said that this is not true, and the fact that the military and the police are all working together to keep Tanzania safe. But I still want to go back to the border areas. I mean, Tanzania is part of the East African community, and we talk about countering the financing of terrorism and making sure that it's not just for Tanzania, but the East African region is well kept safe. So what has been the contribution of Tanzania to keeping the region, the East African region, of which Tanzania is a large contributory factor for the region?
Okay, first of all, our contribution first, we have been so much derived by our retired ex-president, the first president, Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, has been ahead in a lot of mission of keep peace in, and has been a leading person in a lot of peace talking. You can take into the borders when it happened in 2007 about the Kenyan issues of the post-political violence. We Tanzania were the ones who were mediating. The same goes to the Burundi. The same goes to the Southern Sudan. The same goes to the Sudan. The same goes to the Rwanda after the genocide. So Tanzania has been played a very, very great role in the issues of peacekeeping in our region. We have been using so much of our effort in investing to other countries for the brotherhood and sisterhood. We have been doing a lot to keep peace in our region. And if you're a person, you can wonder if you had something is happening bad in Tanzania, is wondering. Even you are the one who teaches us to love each other, you are the one who always solve a conflict, how it happens to you. So that also has given us a challenge in that we have been playing a role. Also, you can find now in the coming administration of the sixth President Samia Suluhu Hassan, she has been trying to cope up the mission, to take along the speed in the diplomatic, you making a lot of consultation in the peace of the region, you know, to put things together. So the role of Tanzania, it goes without saying. In the East African region, it goes even to the SADC. It is a very role that we cannot even speak about because we have been made very generous in the peoples. Whenever we see any person happen, and that we have made a very great effort in the East African today, we have now added the DRC, in order it may be safe with us here. And as the situation could be worse if it would not be in EAC, because anything that has happened, you cannot even try to resolve. But also, we have been trying a lot of issues. We have been engaging. We have been sending our military troops in the UN whenever they are needed. We have been using the Comoro issues. If you can remember the Comoro issues, our mission was also sent there. So we are trying our best for sure. And our government, we are doing our best. In spite of the previous regime, we was not playing this role, but the rest of the regimes, we have been trying to play softly this role.
There are rumors that Al-Shabaab and other ISIS-affiliated terror groups may have also been able to slowly set up some connections in Tanzania, and of course with Mozambique and Kenya also in the picture here. Is this a serious concern for Tanzania security forces?
Oh, it was an alarm. It was not that much happening, but it was an alarm because it was so speculating. It was just going around that Al-Shabaab and all this. And you know that this comes in the manner through the borderline of coming out from the Kenyan land, that is Kenya-Somali coming this way. It was something to do with that issues. And it also goes with the human trafficking coming to Tanzania. So it was just a speculation. It was not that much serious, but the situation was so handled and contained to the way that it could not prevail. Also, it wanted to drop that issue in the Zanzibar, which is part of our union. It was just going to be like speculations, but yet it was taken into the control. It's now not a big thing now. The big thing now is to protect the borders of our countries, sincerely, without doubt, and for the avoidance of doubt.
Okay.
I also just want to ask, apologies, Rita. I also want to ask, with regards to internal security now, East Africa mostly has been concerned with either the M23 rebels or with Al-Shabaab or other terror groups. But I want to look at Tanzania as, itself now. Internal security, what are the biggest concerns that the country is facing? And is there ways that the country has also maybe tried to reduce the level of, maybe murder or robberies or any of all that sort in the country?
Or in the encountering of the time now we are passing through in the security at the internal domestic, we encountered with some other guys who were coming around like robberies, or in the popular name we say Panyarodi, which they were just coming, snatching, hitting the houses at the night, coming with the machetes and all of that. It was something that was going around in the speculation, and it has been a lot of people have been losing some of their lives. But the internal security had controlled that because it was done in some of the cities, like here in Dar es Salaam. It was just going anywhere because Dar es Salaam is one of the center cities, so it was just doing here. So the RPC, the Regional Police Commissioner, the police commissioner here, the regional one, tried to contain that situation to the situation that whenever a person is caught or suspected, it could be a very serious initiative. So in the current domestic security now, it's okay. Or maybe other one just about the civic space that is always going, but the sixth president, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, is trying to make things to come up in orders because that has been another thing. But in the domestic, for sure, now we are going okay. Even now, the friendship between us and police now is good. We can even drink tea with the police compared to the other one. You never see the uniform of police, you just run away, you sneak around. But now it's okay. The environment is good, and we're thank God for that.
Okay, I'm still going to emphasize on this civilian and military relationship. I mean, you talked earlier on that in the past administration in Magufuli, this was a bit tense between the military and the civilians, of which there were arbitrary arrests of opposition members and even people in the media. I mean, for Samia Suluhu Hassan, you highlighted a bit that things are much better, but for the people, how much confidence or how safe do they feel around the military, the armed forces in Tanzania?
Oh, please rephrase, come again. Pardon. I've not get it, please.
All right, I was talking about civilian and military relationship presently. I mean, for the civilians there, how much confidence do they have in the military?
Oh, okay. In Tanzania, the military, the citizens have got a very serious confidence in the military. And because the military does not, in our laws, the military does not come into the civics and civilian. We all deal with the police. So the issue of whenever you see the military at the road, means it's very serious. So we have never experienced that. So the confidence between Tanzania and the military, it's very, 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 very high. The confidence, it was between, the loss of confidence was between Tanzanian citizens and the police, who are now dealing with the civilians. But that which was now because the Tanzania, we deal much with the police because that whenever you need to do anything, go to police. Arrest is done by the police. Everything is done by the police. So the civic space between us and the police in the current leadership of Magufuli, it was worse. It goes without saying, it was worse. It was worse. Whenever you see police, because police were weaponized, they can come into your arrest without anything, without such warrants. They can take you to the custody for a number of days. They can torture you. They can take you anywhere. They can snatch whatever you have. They can go to your bank account, take your money and all that. So that was a very serious thing, I tell you, in that time. But the confidence now is now trying to be rebuilt again back to the police. But compared to the military, the confidence is very good. There's no doubt on that because we never deal with civilians. Civilians were just based on the police.
All right, I'm just saying the Tanzania's 2022 military or defense budget is as high as $730 million dollars. That's quite a lot of money. Can Tanzania continue to spend that much on its defense?
When there are high debts and, of course, the high loans going on.
Of course, I can speak that loudly that it's a challenge that we have put. If we are saying we have got a secure rate, logical, why do we put more budget to the Ministry of Defense, to that which does cross account more than other social issues? It's like this. In Tanzania, the militaries are high paid, especially the senior officers. Now, going to this transition to 2022, a lot of senior officers were retiring. And not only that, it goes again without saying, a lot of people who are now being supposed to be recruited, others are supposed to be promoted. So in this transition is whereby a lot of issues, it boosts up or it runs up the budget in the ministry. So it was for internal purpose of innovation and building and reform. And also, you know that in Tanzania we have got a college of defenses. So all that have got staff and all that, they've got a lot of things we need to do about that. So I think so that was the logic of the budget to shoot around that. But I hope so when we come to this budget of the coming year 2023, 2024, I think that it will narrow down. It will narrow down. Because this time it's because a lot of people are retiring, there's a lot of officers that have been supposed to be paid, a lot of officers have been recruited and all that. I think so that was so internal than the external effects.
Yes, Emmanuel, lots of things there especially for the military, and why you're defending why the budget is quite high. But I still want to look at another issue here. You know, earlier on I talked about how Tanzanians are celebrating their independence, and Samia Suluhu Hassan came on the mantra when she wasn't expecting, even though coming as a vice president. Unfortunately, with the death of John Magufuli, she had to take up the helm of affairs. Now it's 61 years down the line for Tanzania as an independent country. I mean, what are your wishes, or what are the things that you think that should be improved upon in the country?
Okay, in our 61 years, we need to improve our social services. We need to put very strong social services. We need to to improve our education issues. We need to open up the new opportunity for the jobs for the millions of people who have been down the street with no jobs, with their crying, they come from the poor families, indigenous families. Also, we need to put a place whereby we should utilize our investment and our natural resources to the extent that we cut down the debt that we are now been loaning a lot. And also, we need to go back to nourishing our laws, to make a favorable laws, to ban along all those draconian laws, all those bad laws. We need to go away with that. We have to amend such laws. Also, we should encourage our freedom of expression, our freedom of space. We should not be going back to the censorship. Also, we should now open our political space, our political dreams, our political parties, and all that rights a person to exercise properly. Also, as we are turning 61, we should also think about our new constitution coming around, if it's possible. Also, if it's possible, because we are not sure if it's possible, and all that. I think that we should internalize so much on that in this 61 as we meditate it.
All right, Emmanuel Fale Ukashu, advocate of the High Court of Tanzania and Subordinate Court. You, of course, have been picking to us from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Before we let you go, I want you to also share your thoughts on improving on the judiciary in Tanzania. You, of course, are in that space. So yeah. Let us know what it currently looks like. Is there a strong judicial system in Tanzania? Would you like to see some improvement going forward? Does the country need some salvaging in that regard?
Okay, thank you for this very good question, and it's my career questions too. Our judiciary, it's a bit speculated to be independent, but later on, it's in the fifth administration that the people lose the confidence in the judiciary. That goes without saying. What I hope for now in this 61 years of independence, we need a very strong, bold judiciary. I'm speaking it very loudly. Strong, bold judiciary, whereby whenever a person sees a judiciary, they say that, okay, my rights can be secured there. And not only that, we need also to go down to make the budget of the judiciary not be seeking from executive. This is very worse, because if somebody take you to seek money from somewhere, it takes you and impairs your independence. You can just get a memorial once. President Osarogie said, "How can I pay judges money?" and then say that the government cases are. That was so bad statement. So it means that we need to have our independent budget in the judiciary, which I could propose that you could be having a law that will get a certain percent from the total whole budget of the country, maybe 1%. It could be that. So it's not matter you going to negotiate out, should you get it. Also, we should need to make a very good thing about how we interact in our interpretation of the laws, how people are being advised to handle matters in the cases. In ethics matters has to be so highly be considered and all that. So I expect that if we go in that line, the judiciary it could have been more independent than ever. You in Nigeria, you have a very independent judiciary, not there. We want to see going to South Africa, go to Kenya, but here we cannot even identify election. It's just a joke.
A joke indeed. I mean, when you're talking about independence, you're looking at all-round independence of all the different sectors, the different arms of the government, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, and of course, separation of powers. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, Fale, Ukashu, for sharing so much insight on the security and, of course, the better of Tanzania at 61. Thank you so much for joining us on this special broadcast.
Thank you so much, and welcome to Tanzania, please.
Definitely. What's the food they eat in Tanzania?
We eat ugali and the fish, samaki. There is also, we can eat rice and beans. We can also eat pilau. We can also eat biryani. There's a lot of good food here. And we have got a lot of meat too.
Okay, my director said he will manage rice and beans, so I definitely will have that. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, and have a lovely independence.
Thanks a lot. May God bless you.
Yes.